Let's go straight across then to former Union and Finance and Home Minister, Senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram, who was among those who hit the street today. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Chidambaram. You courted arrest against Sonia Gandhi being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. There will be those who will say that all of this by the Congress party amounts to interference with the due process of law. That how do you respond to the criticism that the Congress is doing street satyagrahas rather than allowing the due process of law to carry forward in this case of National Herald?
That's complete rubbish argument. The ED is not following the due process of law. Why are you supporting the ED and saying that they are following the due process of law and we are interfering with the due process of law? They are not following any process of law, and they are protesting. Kindly listen to me. They are protesting against the misuse of the PMLA and misuse by the Enforcement Directorate.
No, you can protest the way, you can certainly protest, but you can protest possibly in a court of law, not on the street. Because the reason I'm asking you, Mr. Chidambaram, all of this is because the Enforcement Directorate is now saying that the move to probe the Gandhis was initiated last year itself after the ED registered a fresh case under the criminal provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act after a trial court in Delhi took cognizance of an income tax department investigation. So they claim they are following up on what they did last year with that complaint.
Well, it's obvious that you have not read the PMLA, which is the income tax violation, which is a scheduled offense under the PMLA. There is no provision of the income tax, if violated, will become a scheduled offense on the PMLA. So keep the income tax angle out. What else is it? Otherwise, it is simply a case of alleged cheating and alleged breach of trust. Now, who is being cheated? Who has complained that I have been cheated? Who has complained that I entrusted money to Mrs. Gandhi or anyone else and there is a breach of trust? Do you even know the name of the complainant? What did the complainant do? The complainant made a complaint. He was being cross-examined by the other side's lawyer. And after 2 or 3 days of cross-examination, the complainant moved the High Court and got a stay of his own case. So without knowing the facts, the background,
Mr. Chidambaram,
believe whatever the ED says. It is this attitude of the media which believes everything that the UP police says. In the Mohammed Zahir case,
Mohammed Zubair
believes everything that the Delhi police says. In Sharjeel Imam's case, which believes everything that the Delhi police case, in Siddiq Kapan's case. And these people are languishing in jail, which is why in the last 15 days, there have been 2 judgments and a major statement by the Chief Justice of India saying all this is an abuse of power.
We'll come to that in a moment about abuse of power, but the facts, let's stick to the facts, Mr. Chidambaram. A Delhi trial court in 2014 had said there was prima facie wrongdoing in the entire National Herald deal, and the ED now says therefore they are trying to find answers to questions that they claim form the core of their investigation, in particular how the Congress party paid over rupees 90 crores to Associate Journal Limited. They want to track the route of their money and say this is part of the investigation. They've not charge-sheeted Sonia Gandhi yet. Are we saying therefore that Sonia Gandhi cannot even be questioned, not be subject to questioning, is the argument the government, the ED makes today?
Nobody says that. What are you investigating? For the last 10, 12, 15 years, this transaction between Associated Journal and Young India has been recorded, one, in the return filed by both companies before the Registrar of Companies, in the income tax returns, and in the audited balance sheet of both companies. So there are 3 sets of documents going back to 12, 15, 16 years.
Yes.
where this transaction has been recorded. So what are you investigating? Just open those balance sheets and returns file and find out whatever you want to find out. Are you suggesting that the ED does not know to read a balance sheet or a return of income or a return to the registrar of companies?
Mr. P. Chidambaram, what you are saying is, some would argue, is prejudging the line of questioning of ED, the nature of their investigation. You've been one of the country's top lawyers. You know that the Enforcement Directorate may well have its own line of questioning based on what they claim are documents available to them. Why not wait till this process is complete without hitting the street, without suggesting at this stage itself that this entire process is driven only by political vendetta and nothing else?
We are not prejudging the case. We are judging the ED by its past conduct, present conduct, and how the conduct has worsened year after year, month after month, day after day. Any comment on any case is prejudging. So yesterday, Justices Chandrachud and his fellow judges prejudged the case of Mohammed Zahid. They are making a judgment. This is not a prejudgment. You have the facts before you. You judge. And I'm telling you the facts. Have you looked at the balance sheets of the two companies? Have you looked at the returns filed by the two companies under the Income Tax Act? We are not prejudging. We are judging. I'm saying so. We are making a judgment of the case.